There is a quiet organ inside your body, about the size of a fist, working day and night to keep you alive. You don't see it, you rarely feel it, and yet when it struggles, everything else in your body suffers. I'm talking about your kidneys. For many adults over 50, these hard-working filters begin to tire, often without any warning signs until problems have already set in. And here's the part most people don't realize. What you choose to eat for breakfast can either stress your kidneys or protect them. Imagine starting your day not just with fuel for energy, but with food that actually helps your kidneys wash away toxins, lower the risk of stones, and keep your blood clean. That's what today's conversation is about. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors, where we reclaim health, independence, and joy, one small step at a time. When I was a young physician, I remember one patient in particular, Mr. Henry, a retired teacher in his 70s. He came to me complaining of constant fatigue and occasional back discomfort. His lab results showed rising creatinine levels, a sign his kidneys were under strain. We talked about many things that day, but what struck me most was his disbelief when I explained how something as simple as the fruits on his breakfast plate could change the trajectory of his kidney health. He thought medicine had to come from bottles, not from nature's garden. Yet research and my years of experience show us otherwise. Let's begin with watermelon. Imagine biting into a cold slice on a summer morning. The sweetness, the juiciness, the way the juice runs down your chin. That refreshing flood of liquid is more than just pleasant. It's medicine for your kidneys. You see, watermelon is composed of about 92% water. Your kidneys thrive on hydration. Think of them as two coffee filters working constantly to keep your blood clean. Without enough water, the filter clogs, waste builds up, and those dreaded kidney stones can start to form. But when you stay hydrated, the filters rinse clean, pushing out toxins through urine, keeping your body light and balanced. There's another hidden treasure inside watermelon, an amino acid called citrulline. If water is like a rinse cycle for your kidneys, citrulline is like opening the faucet a little wider. It improves blood flow, making sure every nephron, the tiny filtering unit inside the kidney, gets the circulation it needs to do its job. A stronger flow means a higher filtration rate, which in medical terms we call GFR, or glomerular filtration rate. When GFR is healthy, your kidneys are working at their best, removing creatinine and other wastes efficiently. And here's a bonus. Watermelon is loaded with antioxidants like vitamin C, beta-carotene, and lycopene, the same pigment that gives it its red glow. These compounds fight oxidative stress, which is a fancy way of saying they protect the kidney cells from the wear and tear of aging. I once suggested Henry try a simple habit. Keep a bowl of chilled watermelon cubes in his fridge, ready to eat first thing in the morning. Within a few weeks, not only did his hydration improve, but his energy levels lifted. He laughed and told me he felt like a boy again, sneaking into the fridge for a sweet snack. That's the kind of healing I love to see. Joyful, simple, and powerful. Of course, moderation matters. Too much watermelon can bring bloating or spikes in blood sugar, especially for those with diabetes. But a cup a day, enjoyed slowly, can be a refreshing medicine disguised as breakfast. Now let's turn to a very different fruit, the cranberry. While watermelon is all about flooding your kidneys with hydration, cranberries are like the protective shield. If you've ever heard about cranberry juice for urinary tract infections, you already know a piece of the story. What makes cranberries special is their proanthocyanidins, compounds that stop harmful bacteria from clinging to the lining of your urinary tract. Think of it as making the walls of your bladder and kidneys slippery so that bacteria can't grab on and multiply. For older adults, especially women, this protection is a real gift because infections can escalate quickly and cause lasting kidney damage. But cranberries don't stop there. They also play a role in reducing the risk of kidney stones. Stones often form from calcium oxalate crystals that clump together. Cranberries help lower oxalate levels, which means fewer building blocks for stones to form. And just like watermelon, they carry anti-inflammatory powers. Chronic inflammation is like a smoldering fire that slowly eats away at your kidneys. By cooling that fire, cranberries help preserve kidney tissue, keeping the organ resilient over time. Science backs this up. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular cranberry consumption reduced the recurrence of urinary infections in women significantly. While the study didn't focus solely on older adults, the mechanisms of protection apply across ages. For those with kidneys already showing strain, this protective effect is invaluable. I often recommend a handful of fresh cranberries mixed into morning oatmeal or a glass of unsweetened cranberry juice alongside breakfast. For those who find the berries too tart, blending them into a smoothie with a banana can soften the flavor without losing the benefits. Again, moderation is key. Too many cranberries, especially in supplement form, may cause stomach upset or even contribute to stones at very high doses. But in the right balance, they serve as a gentle guardian for your kidneys. So when you think of watermelon and cranberries, think of them as partners, one washing, one guarding. The watermelon flushes the kidneys with hydration and nutrients, while cranberries put up defenses against infection and stones. Together, they offer a powerful, natural way to protect your kidneys each morning. And perhaps most importantly, they remind us that healing isn't always complicated. Sometimes it's as simple as the fruits we choose to start our day. There is an old saying that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I've always smiled at that phrase, partly because as a doctor, I don't really want to be kept away. I'd rather walk alongside you in your journey. But the wisdom inside that saying is strikingly true, especially when it comes to kidney health. Apples are among nature's simplest medicines, and yet their power is profound. Think of your digestive system as a busy kitchen where meals are constantly being prepared. When you eat, that kitchen gets messy, producing scraps, oils, and smoke. Fiber in apples is like a diligent kitchen helper, sweeping the scraps off the counters and out the door before they pile up. That sweeping process doesn't just keep your digestion smooth, it also spares your kidneys from having to filter so many leftover toxins. In fact, one medium apple has about 4 grams of dietary fiber, and much of it comes in the form of pectin. Pectin is a type of soluble fiber that binds with waste products in your gut and escorts them out of your body through the stool. By preventing those wastes from entering your bloodstream in the first place, apples lower the burden on your kidneys. But apples don't stop there. High blood sugar and high blood pressure are two of the great villains that slowly chip away at kidney health. Elevated sugar can scar the kidney filters, while uncontrolled blood pressure pushes against them like a fire hose, eventually wearing them thin. Apples help stabilize both. Their natural fibers slow down the absorption of sugar, smoothing out the spikes that come after meals. Their antioxidants, quercetin and vitamin C, protect blood vessels, keeping them flexible and strong, which supports healthy blood pressure. I recall one patient, Maria, a grandmother in her late 60s, who struggled with borderline diabetes and early kidney concerns. She loved sweets but worried about her health. I suggested she trade her nightly cookie for a crisp apple. A year later, not only had her sugar readings improved, but her creatinine levels were steadier too. She told me with a smile, "Doctor, my apple saved my evenings." Now let's turn to a fruit that looks like tiny jewels spilled from nature's treasure chest: blueberries. If apples are the steady helpers, blueberries are the fierce bodyguards. Their deep blue color comes from anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that shield cells from damage. To understand why this matters, picture your kidneys as a sponge that filters impurities from water. Over time, free radicals, tiny unstable molecules created by stress, pollution, and even normal metabolism, poke holes in that sponge, weakening it. Antioxidants in blueberries act like a protective coating, preventing those holes from forming and even repairing some of the damage. But there's another way blueberries guard your kidneys: by taming inflammation. Chronic inflammation is like rust slowly spreading through metal pipes, narrowing the flow and weakening the structure. Inflammation in the kidneys makes them less efficient and contributes to long-term disease. Blueberries' compounds reduce this rust, calming the fire inside, allowing the filters to function more smoothly. One fascinating aspect of blueberries is their effect on blood sugar and blood pressure, two themes we've already touched on with apples. A study from Harvard University found that people who regularly consumed blueberries had a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. For seniors already concerned about kidney health, that's vital. Stable blood sugar means less microscopic scarring in the kidneys. Lower blood pressure means less mechanical strain on the delicate filters. Every handful of blueberries is like sending reinforcements to your body's most silent workers. And let's not forget, blueberries are deliciously versatile. You can stir them into oatmeal, scatter them over yogurt, or enjoy them fresh by the handful. Frozen blueberries retain their nutrients beautifully and can be blended into smoothies with ease. I often tell my patients that blueberries are like nature's candy, sweet enough to satisfy cravings, yet profoundly nourishing. The pairing of apples and blueberries is a wonderful metaphor for balance. The apple quietly sweeps away waste and steadies the body, while the blueberry actively defends and restores. Together, they work like two guardians standing on either side of your kidneys, one preventing harm from getting in, the other strengthening the tissue within. For those worried about high creatinine or considering a diet for kidney disease, this duo offers real practical support. So tomorrow morning, imagine starting your breakfast with a crisp apple slice dipped in almond butter, followed by a small bowl of blueberries scattered over Greek yogurt. Simple, satisfying, and silently strengthening your kidneys with every bite. That's the beauty of food as medicine. It doesn't just heal, it delights. If apples are the helpers and blueberries the fierce bodyguards, then strawberries are the gentle healers. Their bright red color and sweet aroma are enough to lift anyone's spirits. But what they offer your kidneys goes far deeper than pleasure. I often describe strawberries as kidney-friendly jewels, not just because of their color, but because of the way they protect and nurture the kidneys at the cellular level. When I meet older patients concerned about kidney health, one of the most common fears they bring up is kidney stones. The pain of stones can be unforgettable, like tiny shards of glass scraping through delicate tissue. For someone who has already endured them, even the thought of a recurrence can bring dread. This is where strawberries quietly shine. Packed with flavonoids, these berries help prevent the crystallization of calcium and other minerals that can clump together to form stones. Imagine sprinkling oil onto gears to keep them from grinding together. That's what strawberries' compounds do inside your kidneys. They keep the minerals from sticking, so stones never get the chance to grow. But strawberries' gifts don't stop with stones. They also act as firefighters against oxidative stress. In medical terms, oxidative stress is one of the most destructive forces for aging kidneys. It's like a wildfire that spreads silently, damaging cells and leaving behind scar tissue. Strawberries are filled with antioxidants, natural compounds that act like water to cool those flames. One study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry highlighted how strawberry flavonoids reduce markers of oxidative damage in the body. This kind of cellular protection is especially valuable for seniors, whose kidneys have already filtered millions of gallons of blood in a lifetime and are more vulnerable to wear. Strawberries also support another vital function: blood sugar and blood pressure regulation. For older adults managing diabetes or hypertension, this matters tremendously. Every surge in blood sugar is like a wave crashing against the kidney filters, slowly eroding them. Every spike in blood pressure is like turning up the water pressure in a fragile garden hose. It stretches and weakens the system. The fiber in strawberries slows digestion, helping to smooth out sugar spikes after meals. Meanwhile, their antioxidants support blood vessels, making them more flexible and less prone to damage. In doing so, strawberries take strain off the kidneys, allowing them to focus on their essential task: keeping the blood pure. I think of one patient, Eleanor, an elegant woman in her late 70s, who came to me after a frightening hospital stay caused by high creatinine levels. She was frightened and convinced her kidneys were failing. While medical treatment was, of course, necessary, I also encouraged her to rebuild her breakfast habits. Eleanor loved strawberries from her garden, but thought she had to give them up because of her health. I explained that in moderation, strawberries were not her enemy, but her allies. Slowly, she began incorporating half a cup each morning, sometimes sliced over cereal, other times blended into a smoothie. Months later, Eleanor walked into my office with a smile and a little basket of strawberries from her garden. Her creatinine had stabilized, her energy was better, and she told me she felt like she was caring for herself, with sweetness instead of sacrifice. That's the essence of what I want for you too. Food should not feel like punishment. A diet for kidney disease, or even just a diet to protect kidney function, should be filled with joy and flavor. Strawberries embody that principle. They're delicious, colorful, and easy to prepare. You don't need to be a master chef to rinse a few berries and scatter them across a plate. In that small act, you're giving your kidneys powerful protection while also treating yourself with kindness. Of course, as with all fruits, moderation matters. Too many strawberries can cause digestive discomfort in sensitive stomachs, and those on certain medications, such as blood thinners, should consult their doctor before dramatically increasing intake. But for most older adults, a half-cup serving per day is safe, beneficial, and deeply nourishing. So when you think of strawberries, I invite you to see them not just as a sweet treat, but as a daily gesture of care for your kidneys. With every bite, you're helping reduce the risk of stones, calming inflammation, regulating sugar, and brightening your morning with flavor. That combination of joy and healing is exactly what food is meant to be. Your kidneys are faithful workers, filtering your blood without complaint, hour after hour, year after year. But like any hardworking friend, they need care in return. Watermelon, cranberries, apples, blueberries, and strawberries, these simple, everyday fruits, offer that care. Each one hydrates, protects, or repairs in its own way, helping to lower creatinine, reduce stones, and protect kidney function. You don't need to eat all five every day, but weaving them into your week can bring relief and resilience. Remember, it's never too late to begin. I'm Dr. Brian, and here on Vital Science for Seniors, I believe your best years can still be ahead.